First off, it is split down the middle. Your take on how this is playing out?
Well, my goodness, it's the interesting question will be if the Republicans hold the Senate. Either way, there's not going to be the tax increase that Biden wanted. Biden wanted to take the corporate rate up, get rid of expensing, take individual rates up. His $4 trillion tax increase is off the table with a Republican Senate, or if the president is able to cobble together a majority of 270. I think the markets are seeing that they're happier with a Republican Senate, so that the downside of what Biden was looking at doing, the massive tax increases, the $11 trillion in new spending, and the Green New Deal taking energy prices up and so on, all of that's off the table. Packing the corners off the table, getting rid of the filibusters off the table. So you'd have sort of 2 years of no new taxes, no new spending, and you'd go along status quo.
Do you see the possibility at all of any major legislation getting through if Biden were to win and the Senate is divided?
Well, there's some interesting things you could do on criminal justice reform. President Trump was able to get criminal justice reform through when the Democrats had the House. There's an interesting bill to expand 401ks and IRAs, make them more available, that is bipartisan and has Democrat support. But if you mean the mega issues like raising taxes, no. Inventing new government programs, no. That will be a lot of pressure. The Democrats have really narrowed their majority in the House of Representatives, and it looks as though it'll narrow further as we go along the next couple of weeks. They're going to have to ask Democrats to vote for unpopular, the moderate Democrat, the Democrats in Republican districts, to vote for things that are quite unpopular. So you're looking at Biden putting the House majority in danger if he puts left of center, larger government programs, asks them to vote for it. It's not going to pass the Senate, and you will end up with 2 years into Clinton, the Democrats lost the House and Senate. 2 years into Obama, the Democrats lost the House and half of the Senate majority. So we've seen this before where the Democrats overreach, the suburbs come back to the Republican Party and say, this is crazy. That's where Biden would be because of the very narrow House majority and not having a Senate to play with to give him a majority. He's going to have to decide what he wants to focus on doing. The list of things he wants to do is
Grover,
really
how about the outlook for stimulus? Do you see stimulus amounting to $1.7 to $2 billion getting through Congress?
No. What the Republicans in the Senate have said that they want $500 billion that deals with COVID. The Democrats are asking for money to bail out incompetent governors and corrupt cities that have bankrupted themselves over the last 40 years and want to be bailed out from that. That is not happening. What will happen is something that deals with COVID-related problems, vaccine problems, people out of work problems because of the shutdowns and so on. That could happen, and that's budgeted at $500 billion. The Republicans are not going to bail out New York City's problems with their. Yeah.
Grover, just, you've got to pay for this. I mean, you've got to pay for the last lot of stimulus as well. That money's got to come from somewhere, and taxation is going to be possibly the only way you're going to get it. So, would you agree to, or would you prefer a short-term, let's say, temporary tax hike in order to deal with all this?
No, tax hikes will be off the table. They are off the table. The Republicans have made that clear. What you can do is open up the economy and get more revenue in that way. You can have more growth. If we'd been going back to the original growth we had in 2018, dialing back some of the tariff wars would get you more growth, and opening up the economy in those states that have really closed it down, Michigan and some of the others, that could get you more growth. More growth gets you more revenue.
Grover, just very, very quickly, how do you read Joe Biden's tax plans? Very quickly.
It would, by raising the corporate income tax either to 28 or 35, and he said both at different times, that puts it higher than China, higher than all the other industrialized countries. We would not be competitive. The value of people's 401ks would go down as the value of the American companies went down as their after-tax revenue fell, that's 100 million Americans whose life savings would decline. So that would be rather devastating to the economy. Luckily, it's not going to happen now.